Hello, everyone. I am happy to share with you that our college, Maritzburg Emergency College, has been granted conditional accreditation to offer the 1-year higher certificate in emergency medical care, as well as the 3-year diploma in emergency medical care. We are excited about this opportunity, and we trust that it's going to assist so many of the providers who are within the emergency medical services who wish to upgrade their qualifications, as well as assist those who want to enter into the EMS profession. We are very excited about this opportunity. We also offer the Access Program, which is a bridging course to assist those who do not quite meet the minimum entrance requirements, to upskill them and make sure that they can meet the requirements to enter into these new qualifications.
Hi everyone, this is the Para Podcast. We are yet back again with another episode. We're excited. We have leadership. We have a leadership here, and she is a female, and we're very excited to have her. But obviously, like always, I have Mr. Sibanda Tulani, who is in Qatar, and I also have Thomas, Elias Thomas, the last name. He is in the UAE. And our guest today, Mrs. Mfeka. Hello, Mrs. Mfeka. How are you?
Hello, Malusi. I am well. Thank you. And hello to your co-host, Tulani and Elias. And hello to your listeners or viewers of your podcast. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling wonderful. It's an honor to be here with you. And I have to say this to the three of you and whoever else that's involved with your podcast. Well done. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It means a lot coming from me. I'll tell you how I met you. It's funny. The only time I've met you, it's a couple of times. I think this is the longest conversation we've ever had. I think I remember during the third year, you came in, I think, with Dr. Christopher Lloyd. We were doing our simulation, the last simulation. It was a neonate transfer, ICU transfer. Now, what happens is Mrs. Vega only arrives and all the lecturers run around like headless chickens. They ensure everything is perfect. And she comes to moderate you guys at university. Last time I saw you, there is a between. Last time I saw you, it was at Lebone. We were also doing the same thing. I was the lecturer at that time, and there was a lot of running around too. Everyone was running around. They're coming. HPCSA is coming. The auditing, you know. So
I'm glad you're not running around today.
no,
yeah, I mean, people run around. I mean,
but I must say there was that comfort when you look at her face. As much as she doesn't talk, she has got a clipboard, a red pen, you know, but still there's that comfort just looking at her smiling, you know, not much, but at the same time you might want to make sure that things are done proper, and so that you pass whatever that you're assessing. So thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate you. So let's start with this now. I don't know your journey in emergency medical care. How did it start? How did you end up in this profession?
Well, it was, I would say, two scenarios that I can think of from when I was young that led me to the profession. One was, when you're young in primary school, and I grew up in the rural areas of Limpopo, and when the careers we knew was police, nurse, teacher. No other career. And I must say I was a bit of a bright child. So a lot of people would say, oh, she's going to be a doctor. She's going to be a doctor, you know. And but I was young, as I said, in primary school at the age of 7, 8 years old. And when you are sick, our parents would take you to the doctor, to a surgery, you know. And I thought to myself, oh God, what a boring job. People say I'm going to be the doctor. because I looked at the doctor. You sit at the chairs out, in the waiting room, and you go into the consulting rooms, and yeah, the doctor checks you out and then give you a prescription. I was like, my God, they say I'm gonna be this career, but I was very young at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another scenario was my brother. I grew up in a family of seven, and I'm one of the two girls, so five boys, two girls in my family. And boys, and I'm like the middle child. I'm like right in the middle. The other girl is the big sister. So I'm right in the middle of boys, and boys being boys, they kind of like trained me to be like a very adventurous person, to go out looking for things and trying out new things and taking risks. And so one of my younger brother one time played a prank on me. He played dead. I pushed him like we were playing, and I pushed him a little bit. Actually, I touched him. I just touched him, and he went down. He collapsed and was not moving. I thought he did. And I thought I have to raise this guy from the dead before anybody finds me. I thought I had to perform a miracle. And I shook him. I'm like, wake up, hello, hello. Hazard's hello, help. I did not
Yeah.
call for help, but I just tried to raise him from the dead. And I thought, I don't want anybody to find out. And I think that prank haunted me. And I thought, I don't ever want to find myself that I'll touch someone, they just die. And fast forward to later after matric, I could not be accepted. I applied for medicine actually at Wits University. I wasn't accepted, but I did a diploma in medical administration. So when I did that diploma, I was introduced to first aid. And during first aid training, then I inquired with my lecturer. The first aid part of the course, the diploma I was doing, was the most fascinating part of the entire qualification. And then I asked my lecturer that was teaching us first aid, how can I feel like this is this is the kind of doctor I wanted to be. I don't want to be like that doctor my mother used to take me to, but I want to be a doctor like this thing that you're talking about. And then they took me through BAA. There is a BAA course. There are courses where you will work in the ambulance service. And she said to me, yeah, you basically can go up to the level where you're like a doctor, but you're just not in a surgery. And yeah, then from then I went on, I did BAA, I registered for BAA course. I qualified as a BAA, then registered with HPCSA back in 1997 then after that I did AEA. From AEA, and then for my advanced life support, there was CCA, but I chose to go for the diploma, the then 3-year national diploma, and from then on just carried on. Yeah, so that's how I came to being a paramedic. My brother's prank of collapse pushed me to to
Being an being an African, I'm wondering how come you didn't pray for them?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No,
Okay.
yeah, we were not yet exposed to what's happening now.
Okay. And then I'm fascinated. You started in Limpopo. Now you find yourself in Maritzburg. So life has
Yeah,
taken you there. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure
life
there
took
was
me.
and then the language challenges at some point. I'm sure you had to learn the languages as you move around South Africa.
Yeah. That's true. The languages, luckily in Limpopo province, already there's quite a number of languages being spoken in one province.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and me being someone that likes to move around, I had already been exposed in the area where I live. We speak Sepedi,
Yeah.
but there are people that spoke Sitsonga that lived
Yeah.
around the same area. It was not many, but they were there. We had people that we went to school with, and Later on, my sister, who was much older than me, she actually got married to a vendor. So I got exposed to the vendor language. So languages to us was not a problem. And the area where I lived, it's a farm, so we had farmers that spoke Afrikaans. So Afrikaans was also another language. I'd say actually my second language was Afrikaans for the most part of my life.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
so doing the BAA, I did that in Joburg. That was after matric, and along the way, I met my husband, who's Zulu speaking,
Okay,
and
yeah.
from KZN. So that's how
Yeah.
the Zulu. It was just quite a culture shock, though, but I got to adapt to it, and
Yeah,
I
Zulu.
loved it. Life took us from because I started actually my national diploma at the UJ. It was Vet Technicon those days, and then we had to move to KZN with my husband, and I loved the province. The people are very friendly, and I don't know if they were fascinated by the fact that I can't speak proper Zulu, and loved me so much that I learned, and I got so much love from the people of KZN, and through HPCSA again, and then working with that and the traveling around the country, then many other languages came through. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
They loved you such that they even married you. Anyway, uh, con- con-
We lose you
continuing
off
there.
ramping.
Continuing there. Now, what are the milestones, the defining moments as a person that has been in the industry for this long, as a paramedic and educator and whatever that you've been doing? What are the milestones?
Gosh, as I said, there's so many that and all my milestones are, it's been what I try to do for someone or help somebody with. And when I see them achieve and come back, quite a number of the people I've interacted with would come back and report back to me how that assist, or whatever I help them with, how it changed their life. So those are the milestones for me. Me, I mean, I got a couple of stories, and I hope nobody feels left out because there's so many, and we just don't have enough time to speak about each and every one.
Yeah.
But I'll mention two. During my time working with the government of KZN, the provincial government, I worked for a number of years at the government EMS, from operational paramedic crew to management to senior management at the head office to the college. Been through the ranks. There was this one particular time when I was working at the college, and we had a student that had parents that are much older. So this student was a young boy, but the parents were much, much older. So one of those that parents had him, he was the last born child at home. Parents had him when they were at an advanced age, or almost at their 60s or something. So this young boy came, and he was a student, and he had given up, like thought there was no future for him. And I, I was drawn closer to him, encouraging him, giving him words of courage, trying to get him to focus on his studies and in the future. And when the course was finished, and we organized a graduation ceremony, the dad came to the graduation, and the dad was old, was almost 80 years old. And when the man, so I don't know what the boy used to tell the parents at home about what Mrs. Mfeka was saying to him, 'cause all I did was just to give words of encouragement. But when the dad saw me and said, "This is Mrs. Mfeka you were talking about." And I said, the boy said yes. The old man, he cried. He literally cried tears. And I thought to myself, what is it that I did or said that
Or
touched
what did
this
the
man
boy
so
told the
much?
parents? Was it good
Yeah, and
stories or
I've
bad
never seen, I'm
stories?
just seeing him at the graduation on the day. So those kind of stories made me think, oh my God, I must continue doing what I'm doing, even though I just feel like I'm just doing my job. Yeah, and then another one was a similar case. This time it was an older student when I was a principal. It was at my current college, the private college that we founded.
Yeah.
And this was an older student who was older than me, even by age, and was a student at the college. And at graduation again, I received a letter from his mom, and the mom was much older as well, because the student was older than me even. So I received a letter that says, "I don't know what you did or what you said, but my son is now um, like a human. He was like angry and upset, like someone we cannot relate to. But you have changed his life." I'm like, I did not really do anything much. All I do is to give students some motivation and try to be an example, try to be as kind as possible, and show that we just have to be human. And it seems like some people look at it and they go and apply it in spaces where they were not expected that they could be. And yeah, and then it changes people's lives. I just thought, okay, I'll just be who I am. Yeah, so those kind of things. And when I see people like Malusi doing great things like this, I'm like, wow, I feel like I've achieved something. I was not, didn't even play a role in you guys establishing this podcast. But when I see Malusi doing this, what you guys are doing, as I said, I watched 2 episodes and I felt like I wish mainstream media could watch this and see. For me, I felt like I've achieved something great. Yeah, so it's stories like this. When I see, I could say my babies achieve great things, even maybe beyond what I have ever achieved. I feel like it's great. Yeah, and personally, I'd say the two things is the Women Paramedic Support Group, founding this organization, and also founding the college, Maritzburg Emergency College, which has actually very recently got a conditional accreditation to offer the 3-year diploma in emergency care. So
Congratulations.
That's amazing.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, those are the achievements. It's amazing. It's just many stories I could tell.
We're coming to that. We're coming to the college just now. Um, I think your stories with the two people that you changed your life. It actually correlates with how we perceived you when we saw you, and you didn't say much, but we could see that this person is strict, but at the same time, there is love in there. You can see that there is that love, the warmth that you could feel. Anyway, well, tell me what has your involvement been with the Health Professions Council of South Africa?
Oh yes. I was a member of the professional board for emergency care
Yeah.
for a period of 5 years, and a little bit more longer in terms of moderations of exams. As as you mentioned, you met me doing examination moderations in many instances. Yeah, and then through that, being a member of the board for HPCSA, I was also part of the education, in fact, various committees within the board. There was a committee, education committee, there was a committee on clinical governance, and also there were new committees that were established to try and broaden the scope of the board. Yeah, so I was involved with HPCSA at that as a member of the board and a chairperson of the education committee during that period, where I took over. Actually, I took over from Professor Craig Lambert, who was the education committee chairperson for some time, and then I took over from there.
Yeah.
So, Mam Mfeka, sorry, I know
Yes.
we're gonna say Mrs. Mfeka, and you said you're Umupedi. I don't know if it's correct to say Umupedi tree or you used to be Mpedi tree. Now you
I
are Umzulu Okoto because of you married to a Zulu.
kokubili kuyafana.
Kokubili.
Ngimpedi.
I was there. This is
Yeah.
Zulu Sakusiot. You can see ukuthi you've been there for years. What I want to ask is, when you were part of the education board for HPCSA, what are some of the challenges that you encountered in terms of moderation or assessment of the different colleges? Because at that time, there were like your short course programs. And when I was getting into the EMS, I was told, don't go and do BAA here, don't go BAA there, do it there. But I never went for the short courses. Some people advise just go to university. What are the challenges and also the challenges that you encountered or that you've seen when the short course programs were being run in emergency medical services to a point whereby there was that closure?
I don't know if I heard your mic is still a bit faint, but
Yeah.
you meant the challenges when the short courses were phased out.
Yes.
Yeah. When the short courses were phased out, I think the biggest challenges was to find people within the industry misunderstanding how the whole thing came about, and majority thinking that the phasing out of short courses is the work of the HPCSA. A lot of people, even now, I think some people still think is the HPCSA that stopped the short courses, or is the HPCSA that closed colleges. People still think like that. I think the shortfall we have in the industry, maybe it could be because people are busy, they have a lot of commitments. There isn't much awareness of how things come about, because it was actually the changes in the education industry that forced the changes of all qualifications, actually, not just emergency care. So those changes that happened at the higher level of the education field affected all other education programs, including emergency medical care. And the HPCSA had to implement what is the new law, or what's the new act. So when they implement, because they are like the HPCSA is like our point of contact for majority, then it just seemed like the HPCSA just decided to phase out short courses. So I think the challenges were that the misunderstanding of how it came about, and also what the benefits would be of aligning our training programs with the rest of the qualification framework within the country. So all that message also did not really go through properly into the industry, and a lot of people, understandably so, found themselves very frustrated as to where am I going to go now? I have this BAA, Basic Ambulance certificate, and what's going to come of me? I want to study further, but now the courses have been phased out, and I'm just being told I must go to university. You go to university, they tell you they need maths and science. from your matric, and when you did the BAA, nobody spoke about maths and science. So I feel like the challenges were that the message did not go through to the majority, and of which are the main majority of people that are working in the EMS space have those short course certification. And I feel like there was not enough reaching out to them, and that caused a lot of frustration, which I fully understand why people would be frustrated. There are many channels, I believe, within the system that could have been used, but like provincial institutions, every province in the country has got a provincial office. We have district offices. We have sub-district offices where messages could possibly reach as many people as possible. How did this come about? Where is it going? And where does it put everybody or the majority of the crews? Because majority of the crews, we know, they have the basic ambulance or the AEA certificate, and now they want to study further, and they need to know how will they access this program. So the biggest challenge is the accessing these new programs, without much information. I think that's, for me, that was the biggest challenge.
Yeah. And I guess also it's just like the businesses as well, because they've, for years they've been doing this training, sort of like what happens to that. I guess I just want to take you to the next questions that we have here. I just wanted to know, when you qualified, I'm sure the mentorship program was a little bit different as compared to what it is now. What are some of the things that you probably like from the previous system to now? And what do you think we still need to work on as an EMS system to say, let's do this, perhaps it prepares the guys better? Or like maybe we're doing this too much, maybe we are babysitting them too much, or since you've been in the industry for a while now.
Um, yeah, back then, not much mentorship, hey? um, you
You figure it
just
out.
Yeah, you just had to figure it out. You just had to look at maybe your lecturers or your manager at your station where you're working, and hope one day you could be like them, and just look up to them and try to copy what they do or copy how they speak, and perhaps it could turn into, somewhat to them. So there wasn't really much mentorship in our days, and really you had to figure it out. I think there's much that's needed in terms of mentorship, and doing things like what you guys are doing, for example. I think these are great initiatives that could inspire young people to come into the industry and realize it is possible. You have normal people doing great things. Because, as I said, in our times, I remember thinking to myself, I want to progress, I want to do something great. And the people that were in front of me were sort of unreachable. It's someone that's at a higher office, and you can't just have their phone number. You have to first call a PA, and the PA will take you through. You realize that I just can't reach this person. So I just have to look wherever they are and try to quietly mentor myself using what they are. So I think this kind of initiatives that we're seeing now, it's making people realize they are normal people that are doing great things. Therefore, young people that have just joined the EMS industry, or those who aspire to join the industry, could realize that it is possible to come in and make it through this process. Tulani said, about just we're told to just go straight to university. Even those that went straight to university, what kind of industry am I getting myself into? Now, if they see someone that's normal, has been through the system, and it's livable, you're able to travel, you are able to do the great things you're doing. I think that is mentorship in a way. However, we could formalize it. I think, in fact, our women paramedic support group, it's one of our pillars that is mentorship. We want to try and do formalize the mentorship programs. However, really knowing very well that being mentors, we don't want to try and replicate us, like make people be who we are. We want them to shine and be who God created them to be, but in the industry that they love, and be able to achieve the great things. There's so much. EMS, it's such a broad industry that I believe people can achieve so much in their different spaces within the industry.
I have so many questions, but this is the last one about the other stuff that just popped in now. Mrs. Vega, we know that there is a shortage of emergency medical care practitioners in South Africa.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've spoken about at length in this podcast is the rescue component and the patient treatment component. Do you think there's really a need for us to incorporate the two? Because I feel like sometimes it limits people that can enter the industry, number one. And number two, I feel like if a person has done a CCA course back in the day or whenever they did it, if they want to just go and do the degree, why can't they just get accreditation for what they know without pushing for the rescue component to be part of the whole thing? What do you think about that?
I think EMS as an industry, it does not just end at the patient care. It's an industry where you can expect the unexpected, and things can just turn out to, unfold in a way that you did not anticipate. And for that reason, I think a rescue component within the emergency medical qualification is probably, there is a place for it. However, I think to an extent we may be doing too much of it unnecessarily. What I mean is that emergency medical care qualification, for example, the diploma or the bachelor degree, the undergraduate qualifications, they could have mostly the emergency, the medical part, and have really really basic rescue components, just as an awareness, so that in case you become part of a rescue team, or part of a mission where there's patients, and there are rescue technicians and everybody else, you will not be in the dark. You will not be folding your hands and not understanding what's going on. So I think there should be an element of, as if it's just an awareness. You know how we do medical ethics in a program? Medical ethics, just take a small component of the qualification. However, we know that we have touched on how to conduct yourself ethically and as a professional. So I believe rescue has a space. However, I feel like we're currently doing a lot more than what's necessary, because what happens is that a lot of people qualify and they spend years and years working without having used the rescue skills that they were taught. And it was a make or break for them. It was something that could get them to fail the qualification and not get the qualification, or pass and qualify. So if statistics show us that majority of people are not really using the skill. It could be there is a room for having a rescue qualification, which will have some elements of medical knowledge, like the basics, same as the medical qualification. It should be majority medical, just have some element of rescue. Now, something that will be, I mean, just the other day I was talking to one of my colleagues from a university that, for example, if you do physical fitness, instead of saying let's have people run 10 kilometers over a certain period of time, I understand we're testing stamina and all that. Why don't we say let's give you a fully stocked jump bag and you carry it and go up the 2-floor building? Because that's probably what you may encounter. You may encounter a scenario where a person lives on the 2nd floor, there are no escalators, and you have to just carry your jump bag and an oxygen cylinder or an ECG monitor, that kind of thing. Couldn't we incorporate, when we're talking about physical fitness, look at physical fitness in that sense? That is much more practicable. And that way, we won't find people failing an entire qualification just because they could not, they could not do something that they might never ever use in their life. Fitness is good. It helps you. I always tell my students, you remain, when you exercise and keep fit, you're healthy, the chance of living longer, we need you longer. We need more rescuers to live as long as possible. And it helps you with concentration in class. So physical fitness, it's good. But I think we may be taking the rescue component a bit too much into the medical qualification. Perhaps, yeah, in my view, there's a home for having a full-on rescue course that will produce rescue technicians, rescue supervisors, and when there's a rescue mission, they take the lead. Unlike what we're seeing now. So now you hear the SAPS, the police are there doing rescue, and then next time is the rescue people, next time it's the firefighters. Like nobody really knows who's doing rescue. So there is room for, yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. I'm not going to ponder on that topic. I think you've said a whole lot. Now, tell us about the women paramedics group. I know you guys have changed something in the industry. There are awards every year, and it's like something big and the glitz and glamour, people
Oh
wearing
yeah.
nice clothes and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that, and they're getting awards. We do see it. We do see it. I've never been there. But I definitely know that there is a lot of action happening there. Congratulations on that. We know the awards. But before we get to the awards bit, tell us about this women paramedic group. What is that?
The Women Paramedic Support Group. In fact, when you said when we met, one time we met at Libone.
Yes.
Yes, that time when I came to Libone College, actually, was the time where the Women Paramedic Support Group, like the formation of it came through that time. If you remember, the acting principal was a good friend of mine, Zintle
Zintle
Kubeka.
Gope. Gope,
Yeah,
yes.
Martin
Martins,
now.
Zintle
Yes,
Martins.
Martins now. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. So Zintle Martin was, we came a long way. We had met way back when we were still students, previously, before that time. And I came to Libone and did the clipboard work. After the clipboard work was done,
Oh,
it was time to go, and I had a chat with her. During our chat, we realized that we have the same experiences, whereby we realize that in our industry, this beautiful profession that we are in, there is mostly male. It's a male dominated industry. It's a given. But then we realize, yes, there are females that come in, but most of the time they end at the bottom level of the ladder. Most of them do not go up the ladder. And I remember us talking about, you find that we sit in a boardroom of 15 people in the boardroom. Less than 3 of the members of that committee, we would find it's women. And we believe we have so much that we can give to the industry and contribute for the industry to move forward. And then we realize, as in our conversation, that it's actually is not that the guys in the industry are discriminating against women. They're not. They just pick up opportunities. When a post is advertised, for example, for a director, mostly guys will apply for the post. We'll just go for an opportunity. And ladies will start thinking, we know, we are mothers. I mean, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. And we participate a lot in church activities as well, most of us. So they start thinking about all these other responsibilities that they have, and they feel like, oh no, being a director, I won't even try to apply for that post. Mr. So and so will be suitable for that. And we felt that most women just don't take the step forward. It's not that they can't do the job, or they can't contribute. They can contribute positively, because we felt if we are contributing positively to the industry, it means others can. We were not born in a glass of gold or anything. We were just born like everybody else. So if we can, it means everybody can. What can we do? Let's start an organization where it will highlight the womanness, even though we are an organization for the entire industry, for men and women. If you look at our awards, the awards that we have, it's to recognize everybody. We recognize the men, the women in the industry. However, the organization is called Women Support Group, so that the women that are in the industry, especially at the bottom level, they will realize that they also can do great things. And if we have that kind of an organization, there's no ranking. When we are in the Women Paramedic Support Group, I'm not the owner of a college. I'm not a principal of a college. I'm just a paramedic. I'm just an emergency care officer. People that are directors or have masters and PhDs, we don't look at that. We don't look at qualifications. We don't look at positions. We don't look at race. We just all in this one big pot of emergency medical care. So that way, even a woman who's a BAA right at the bottom can sit on the table with Ms. Mfeka and feel, and probably not even know who she is, just know she's someone in the EMS industry. And we can just start chatting. And as we speak, I will know possibly what which doors needs to open for her in order for her to progress. Then I could assist her. She can have my phone number. She can be able to just send me a WhatsApp without feeling like, oh, this mighty person. So that's what the Women Paramedic Support Group is. It's all about. It's all about also, we're trying to bring awareness of the industry, the profession, that emergency medical service personnel, they do so much. And, you'll always hear there's nurses, International Nurses Day, and it gets celebrated everywhere. And, or other professions, they get celebrated. But then we felt like EMS is not getting celebrated that much. Perhaps also people still think we are ambulance drivers. And so if we have events that highlights the people that are in this industry, people will realize, oh my goodness, these are not just ambulance drivers. These are professionals who are very important in the entire health chain, or in fact, the entire survival chain, as we spoke even about rescue just now. When chaos happens, you'll always hear emergency services were on the scene and whatever. Who are those emergency services that were on the scene? It's the paramedics. But yeah, people don't, it doesn't get highlighted so much. So we thought, if we go to a government office, we get told budget constraints, this and that. So let's just form something that is not a government thing, it's not a private company thing, it's just a non-profit organization simply involving women that will help to bring the highlight or awareness of this wonderful industry. And we do that in various forms. We sometimes work with community projects, like when there were floods in KZN, for example, we rope around and try to assist getting goods for people that lost everything. Young girls, we try to reach out at schools through distribution of hygienic products. And when we do that, that's part of us also highlighting that, we are actually paramedics, and you can join the industry. Don't feel like being a woman, you can't. So we try to take it from the ground, getting those who want to join, and those who are in the industry, we want to try and inspire them to not be afraid of taking up challenges within the system. Yeah.
Okay, so I think this women's support group is quite essential, mainly because of, as you said, Mrs. Mfeka, is that it's breaking barriers and empowers women, and especially in emergency medical services in South Africa, or also internationally, is that the increase in presence of women in a male-dominated field like emergency medical services, it brings that the type of challenging the gender stereotypes, and also promotes gender equality in emergency medical services. Group like Women Paramedic Support Groups in South Africa, I think they aim to empower EMS and provide network opportunities. Because when you meet as women in those groups, it provides all network opportunities, mentorship, career development, which is, in my words, is that it's essential to foster an environment that is supportive and also to retain skilled professionals in emergency medical services, especially women. What I do want to ask though is that, because the only time, and I'll be honest, when I found out about the women's support group was when there was awards. Now, how do women get to find out about the women's support group? How do they, if, how can they, how do you guys ensure that you reach more women in emergency medical services? Not just women, but also men that are out there in emergency medical services that don't know about the women's support group.
Yeah, on social media, we've also tried to get social media coverage. We have a Facebook page. It's at Women Paramedics Support Group, and we've recently been looking at entering other social media spaces, and what we do also, especially when awards, why we introduced awards as well, is to do direct communication with the like managers. We write direct letters to the managers, private and public sector, to inform them what the Women Paramedic Support Group is all about, and requesting them to cascade information down to the lowest level of their organization. So we constantly try to communicate about the group, trying to get awareness. We do have a good footing in KZN, Gauteng, Northwest Province, and the Eastern Cape. So our plans is that aside from the big awards ceremony that happens once a year, which recognizes everybody, is to have smaller events that will target each provinces, and where we would go and have either a workshop or an event in that province, so people are aware that something is happening with EMS. So as the years go by, the goal is to reach all the provinces, and we've received even some invites in provinces like the Western Cape, is to reach out as many provinces and have a good footing in each and every one, have champions within those provinces, and start hosting events and then highlighting the talents that are there. Because one of the things is that we realize people, we are all paramedics, emergency care workers, but then there's this other talents that people have. In fact, for example, in the media, I'm realizing that it seems like we have talents in the media. I've also seen another podcast similar to what you guys are doing, and then some other that are involved in media space, and it's amazing. So we would like to reach out as many people as possible. So currently, is just we do have a website, www.women-paramedic support group, the entire word, women paramedics support group.co.za, as well as a Facebook page, and we just reachable directly. Myself, Ms. Zintle Martins, we've even roped other ladies like Kumzi
If you go on
Lembalani
there,
as so that's how we spreading the word, and one day go global and start with Africa.
Yeah, the other podcast that you mentioned is behind the siren. Shout out
Yes.
to them there. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Voilà.
yeah. Nomvula, she's doing a good job over there.
She's actually a member of the Women Paramedic Support Group, by the way.
Yeah. Are you mentoring her?
She's doing a good job.
She's doing a good job. We like what she's doing. I do watch her podcast now and then. Yeah, and now I'd like you to tell us about your college. What happens there? What happens? You mentioned that you recently got accreditation too. Yeah, tell us about your college.
Yeah, this college. So my work within the public sector in government, I worked for a number of years in the government sector, and at the HPCSA, got me to realize to actually see the picture, to see the picture properly, what's happening within our industry, and that the biggest thing was the fact that we have thousands of people who have been trained to get the basic ambulance assistant certificate, thousands of them. And majority of them are not, even now, we still have a challenge. We're not getting employment. And they did the course with the hope of being employed in the ambulance service. And when I analyzed this, the numbers, I realized that it seems like the problem is access to furthering their studies. We did not have enough colleges that were offering the intermediate life support to upskill the people with BAA and put them at a level where now they can be employable. Yes, you do see BAAs being employed, whether in government or private. But if you think about it, BAA was like just the key to open the door into EMS. However, it was communicated like it's a It's a certificate that will get you a job, because other people did get jobs. However, majority were not. Now, it was troubling me. It was troubling me so much that my husband got tired of hearing me talk about the fact that we can't have people holding a certificate and sitting at home. Why? It's just not working out. And I said that so many times, to the point he said to me, you know what? I think just open a college, offer the AEA, help those people that you're saying they are not getting employment. And yeah, my husband supported me. We put together whatever we could and set up a college, which was primarily to offer the AEA course before the short courses were phased out. So the college was formulated actually to be some form of opening up a door to assist the unemployed BAAs get a certificate that will help them get employment. Although, with AA, then you had others who were employed coming in to do, but we were happy to see that most of them would come in and do the AEA course and go back and apply for like supervisor position or getting promoted. So our aim was to offer something that will give people something that is valuable, and that's how the college started. And yeah, we never looked back. We um, offered. Then we had CPD programs also that are profession specific, because there are many CPD activities happening all around, but some are not necessarily EMS profession specific. And we thought we need to create a space where people within the profession, when they participate in a CPD activity, it's something really related to their profession, because a lot of people are really, you'd find someone has got a certificate, but then they're not really much as clued up as they're supposed to be with either their scope of practice or what's happening within their own industry. And we felt it can be. People that are within the profession need to know more about the profession, and to create that kind of space. And that's why I was very excited. I saw a journal, you reviewed a journal article not so long ago, and it was exciting for me. I was like, wow, this is the kind of things people within the industry need to know, the research that was done about the industry. And what better way to do that, and maybe even award CPD points towards something like that.
We'll talk about it later.
But
Yeah.
that's the backdrop of how the college started. And because there's been phasing out of short courses, we then applied also for accreditation to offer the new programs. And again, there's still a challenge now of accessing the course. We know many people with a BAA course or a AA, they did not do the maths and the science, life science or biology when they did matric, and to find a way to still accommodate them, because we know challenges with RPL. RPL has got rules and regulations and how many people you can allow. And to open up the door wider, we then applied for a license to offer the preparatory program. So it's like a purposely made, designed bridging course that was designed at the Central University of Technology, that was designed specifically for people within the industry that can bridge them into the new programs. So our goal has just always been to get the people within the EMS to see value in the qualifications that they do.
So who can do that course, the preparatory course?
Preparatory course is people who have a BAA or a AEA certificate, but they do not have, when they did matric years ago, they did not do mathematics or life science or physical science. The new requirements to register for a higher certificate or a diploma or a bachelor degree. So these requirements that are in place, the majority of people do not have that. Or if they did not do as well as it's required, because it's not just the subjects that are required, it's the subjects and the achievement, the marks that you got.
The
Yeah.
quality.
So, yeah, the quality of your pass. So it's either, people who have the BAA certificate or AEA, they did not do math at all or science at all, or if they did not pass it as well as they should. So then they can qualify for that. And also for consideration of the young people, because if we're talking about people who have the BA and the AEA, you can understand that since these courses have been phased out almost 5 years ago, we're talking about a bit older people that are in their, either the youngest must be in their late 20s or early 30s. So now thinking about that young matriculant who is now 18 at this age, and they want to enter the industry, and they have the soul for it. Being a paramedic is one of those careers that it's like you have to have the soul for it. It's not just an ordinary job. Yeah, so there are those that have, I would say they have the soul for being paramedics, but they also did the subjects at matric, but did not achieve what's required. They also are allowed to do the preparatory program. And
Now,
yes.
no, sorry to cut you off there. What I wanted to ask Ms. Mfeka is that if somebody comes and does the emergency medical preparatory program, what does it entail? When they finish, what does the program entail that it helps them to be able to do the EMC program? Because as part of I think on the application form, it mentioned that I think it's an important thing. And why I'm saying it is an important thing is that recently I was engaging with someone who's a BAA, and since he's a BAA, he said to me that he's struggling to progress because of he doesn't have the correct subjects to advance, as you've highlighted as well, which is a common thing with the BAAs, but also with matric students that don't qualify. Now, what I do want to know is what does the program entail? Because I saw that as part of the program is that if you do well, I think there's a portion where it says that if the student performs well in the program, they may even be considered for a bachelor to enter into the Bachelor of Health Sciences emergency medical care, which is amazing. It gives that program, and thus that bridging program is important.
Yeah. So the preparatory program, basically, it entails it gives people, they do those subjects that you will find in metric, mathematics. There is, however, we start with numeracy, which is like a simplest form of maths, to introduce them, because we understand that some people did not do maths at all from school. So to just throw them into a mathematics class, you're going to throw them off. So we start with a numeracy where we do the basics of maths, and then prepare them to do a actual mathematics as a subject. And then we have physical science, which has chemistry and physics. And we have life sciences, your normal life science. And then we have academic literacy. Academic literacy is to prepare students for the academic nature of a higher certificate or a diploma or a bachelor degree. So the understanding that, unlike with short course, when we did short courses were skills based, we're focusing on how to take a blood pressure, how to take vital signs, how to defibrillate, just focusing on the skills. But now the academic nature of writing and comprehending questions and things like that. So we have an academic literacy as a subject, and we also have introduction to emergency medical care, which is mainly to benefit those students who came from matric, did the subject but did not do so well. So they understanding what kind of industry they're getting into before they go any further if it's not for them. If it's for them, at least they go further with a foundation. And it has the Learn to Swim program and physical fitness, because we've realized that the bachelor degrees and diploma, they have modules that involve water rescue. So we prepare students at this foundation level to be ready for that when it finally comes. Now, the mathematics and the chemistry and physics we teach, because it was purposely designed as a bridging program for emergency care personnel to further their studies. It's not your ordinary, the basis is that physics where you have, the laws of motion but it's designed, the outcomes of the modules are in such a way that they make sense to a person who's been in the industry. If I give you a question paper now of our physics test in the emergency preparatory program, it feels like you're writing an emergency care course. It's about motion, but it's about a collision between two vehicles, and then how it will affect the motions within the body of a person, the driver. So it's much more practical type of a physics, like applied physics relating to emergency medical care, to make it much more easier, not as rigid as the physics you'll find in a high school. So that even the older person who's been in the industry for years and they want to progress, they will not find themselves lost in this physics class. So that's what the emergency preparatory program is. And yes, if it's meant to actually it gets them direct access with us. That's why we applied for the accreditations for the higher certificate and diploma, so that the students who do that, they have just direct access into the course. They don't need to compete for space because there's limited space, there's limited institutions. So they don't have to compete for space with all other applicants or matriculants who've done extremely well. We acknowledge those matriculants who worked very hard and they achieved high marks, but we believe there is space also for the matriculant who who just scraped through, but we can at least bring them up to the level that's required. Same as the guys that are already in the system, BAAs and AEAs who've never done it. So at least they can come up to the level, but in a way that is much more student friendly, if I can put it like that, and also age friendly. If someone is 40 years old and you're teaching them physics and they've never done physics ever, the approach has to be different. That's our belief. Has to be different. How are you going to teach them that physics? It has to be in a way that a 40-year-old can grasp it, unlike a 17-year-old in high school. So that's what the uniqueness of the emergency medical preparatory program is.
Sounds good to me. Do you have another question, Tulani?
No, I do have questions, but we way over time now, and it's just a comment. Is that I think this program is important. It's commendable that there is such a program. I honestly didn't know about it until I started researching about you. Not that we are stalking you, but we had to do some research. And
It's okay.
as I said, that I had one particular person that we were discussing this program, and it highlighted, now that I know, that also there's another program where there's a mentorship program that is run by Epic EM. And what we've realized, that part of the challenge is that a lot of the people that in the EMS, BAA, they feel stagnant. AEAs, they feel stagnant, and it's reality because they cannot progress. Whereas the previous programs would allow them to progress up until to advanced life support. Whereas now they feel stuck. They feel also they're earning the same amount of salary. The cost of living is increasing, especially in South Africa, compounded by inflation. Whereas this program will allow them to have at least a career progression where they can also advance themselves. So I think it's important, and I hope that people do get to see this program and have ability to access it so that they can advance. And the way you've explained it, I like the fact that it's tailor made specifically for those people that never did all those subjects, um, and will allow them to go to give them the opportunity to go to university. Yeah, that's it, Melissa, from my side.
Mrs. Fega,
Yes.
in closing, for anyone that is just listening and interested in the industry, would you tell them what courses do you offer at your college? How do they find your college? And yeah, what do they do?
Okay, yeah, anyone who's interested in entering the EMS industry, or those that are within the EMS industry and they want to further their studies, the college, we are available. And we also assist those who have been in the industry and they got deregistered. Their registration with HPCSA was deregistered. We assist those as well. The college is based in KwaZulu Natal, in the Midlands area, just past Maritzburg, in an area called Hilton. We actually neighbors to the Hilton College, by the way. But
Beautiful
I
place,
must,
yeah, beautiful
oh yeah,
place. I love that place.
yes, yeah, that's where the physical place is, and we are accessible. We have a website. It's www.maritzburgemergencycollege.co.za. That's our website. We have a Facebook account. It's at Maritzburg Emergency College. We have a phone number. Our office it's 033 348 2041. So we are accessible on those spaces. And yeah, we also try as much as possible to give advice to people who come into contact with us. We have an email, info@mecollege.co.za. People can reach us and request further information. We are always willing to assist with that. And yeah, wish everyone all the best. This is a wonderful career. I would encourage people to join in. It's a very rewarding career, and we are many people. They're available to guide and assist throughout, as long as a person just shows the passion and understanding that, yeah, it's one of those unpredictable type of thing. I don't think you guys predicted when you were students that you will be where you are today. So it's one of those that's full of surprises, full of adventure, and yeah, it's a wonderful career to choose.
Yeah, thank you very much. In closing, I would like to quote one of my favorite female prime ministers by the name of Jacinta Ardern. She was the former prime minister of New Zealand. She once said, "One of the criticism I've faced over the years is that I'm not aggressive enough, I'm not assertive enough, or maybe somehow because I'm empathetic, it means I'm weak. I totally rebel against that. I refuse to believe that you cannot be both compassionate and strong. I do think that you represent that. And we thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for the time that you have spent with us. And just to give us your busy schedule, and you decide that it's better you spend time with Para Podcast. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And I hope that your college does well and everything that you want to do and everything that your family wishes, you get. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Mrs. Spera. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate. And as I said, all the best to you and the podcast. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to great things through this media stream. For more information, you can go onto our website. Our website is www.maritzburgemergencycollege.co.za. Our phone number is 033 348 2041. You may also send us an email on info@mecollege.co.za, and we will do the best that we can to assist you with information or any other assistance that we can be able to offer. We look forward to engaging with you.